Hi guys, it's Charlotte here, and welcome back to another video all about Squarespace SEO. In today's video, we are going to be covering Squarespace SEO tips for photography websites. So if you're a photographer or you have lots of images on your website and you want to know some best tricks and best practices, tips for all of that, then you are in the right place. So in this video, we're going to be covering some tips. I'm going to be showing you as well using an example website that's just using the Raleigh template Squarespace 7.0. But if you're using Squarespace 7.1, it's going to be basically the same thing. So no matter what version of Squarespace you're on, you'll be good to go. Okay, so let's talk about SEO tips for your photography website. If you haven't already, make sure that you look at the video that I've linked to up above. It's called like Squarespace SEO 101, and like that just makes sure that you have the very basics covered. So that's a must. If you haven't already watched it, go check that video out and then come back and join us. Okay, so assuming that you've done that and you're ready to go, now let's dive in. I've got 6 tips that I want to share with you. Okay, so the very first thing that I want you to think about is search intent. Okay, search intent is pretty much putting yourself in your ideal audience's shoes when they're making some kind of online search, right? So you think about like, what are the words that they're typing into Google and what do they expect to find? So I've done another video all about this topic and I'm going to link to it up above here. But basically search intent is going to be massive because if you understand search intent, then you can kind of, brainstorm those keywords or key phrases or whatever someone's typing into Google, and then you can analyze what's already ranking for those keywords or key phrases, whatever, and evaluate the competition's content, right? Like, are you seeing a bunch of other photography homepage websites? Are you seeing a lot of other photography services page, blog posts about a particular wedding that was featured? Anything like that. So, let's say, for example, you are a Nashville photographer, type Nashville wedding photographer, type that into Google and see what comes up so that you can see like what someone would be typing into Google and then use that to kind of like back build your content, right? So check out the video about search intent that I linked to because that is going to be huge. Honestly, it's a big game changer, even just considering that, and your website will thank you. Okay, let's move on to point number 2, and this is all about images. Okay, images are massive from an SEO point of view because when you include images on your Squarespace website, you get the value from not only from what images bring to the page or the blog post itself, but you can also use images to rank higher in search results, in normal search results, as well as Google image search results. So you kind of, if you use a lot of images on your website, which you will if you're a photographer or you have a photography website, then that's massive for you, right? You can hit it in both of those different places. So when it comes to images, in the description box down below, I've linked to an image guide for SEO that I've written that goes through this in much more detail, but there's a couple pointers that I want to show you really, really quickly. So I am going to share my screen. Hold on, let's see. Okay, good. So you can see my screen here. So imagine that I've got my, like fake website here and I want to add an image or a bunch of images to a page, okay? Pretend that I've got like, here's an image that I want to be adding to the website, okay? And this is like the raw image file, okay? Imagine, see? So this is the image that I want to add to the page. But look at this physical file, right? Like this physical file name right here, first of all, isn't going to be really helpful, right? Like you can see it's just from Unsplash, it's a stock photo. But very first thing we want to do with all the images that we have on our website is to name the physical file correctly. So I would maybe name it something like Charlotte O'Hara photography, let's say Nashville wedding photographer, Mike and Jane wedding, sunset in the field, whatever, okay? Something like that. So it's, that image is going to be really well named with the keywords, but it's also descriptive, okay? So we're hitting on the keywords of like your name, your like location and photography type, and then the descriptive elements of that image. So now that we've got that, we're ready to actually, oh no, wait, we're not. Okay. The next thing that I want to tell you too is that you should look at the file size, okay? Because some image files are going to be much bigger than others. So if you notice that you have a really big image and you are going to want to compress it, so I recommend that you use a what is it, like a website like Tiny PNG. And Tiny PNG is going to be a great way to just compress the images without losing a lot of the quality. So if you have a big raw image file, run it through Tiny PNG and then you're ready to work with it. Okay, so now let's go about adding it to the actual website, okay? So imagine I want to add it in here just below the title. I'm going to insert an image block, okay? I'm going to upload that image. Let's pull it over. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, cool. And now you can see that it's going to be, my internet's a little bit slow, don't mind me. Okay, so we've got the image and you can see here that with Squarespace, it's automatically gonna pull from the physical file name, okay? And that's what we wanna see. So you can go through and change it and edit it if you want to, but this is something that you're gonna do for all of the images that exist on your website. And as such, you might realize like, oh crap, maybe I haven't done some of these things for the other images that already exist on your website. And I'm here to tell you, if that's the case, it's going to be a bit annoying, but you should do it. You should go back and like reformat, resize, and correctly name all of the images if you want all of the SEO benefits. Okay. And, so this is something to keep in mind if you're using an image block or if you're using a gallery block too. You want to make sure that you're still naming the images with as much SEO benefit and using those target keywords as you can. Okay, so images are going to be huge. Check out the guide that I've linked to down below that goes into this in much more detail. Let me just take a quick little note here. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. So then the next thing that we're going to talk about kind of along those lines with the next tip, number 3, is going to be talking about on-site SEO factors. So again, I have another blog post that goes into this in more detail, but basically, and blog post video tutorial, I'm linking that one up above here. But some of the things you want to consider for your photography website is like how you're naming all of your pages, all of your blog posts, if you have products, maybe because you have a product directly selling your service online through Squarespace's e-commerce platform, you want to think about how are you naming the pages correctly, right? So what is like the page title? So you can see, when you open up the page editor, as I'm going to do here, you want to play around with like, what is the correct page title? So like, it might be something like, let's say like engagement photography services or something, or you might have another one, wedding photography services, or like, family photography services, whatever kind of photography you do, like name the page correctly, right? And then you also want to think about things like the URL slug here. You want that to be really crisp and clean and including the keywords too. You're also going to fill out the SEO tab here as well, specifically for the SEO description field. That's really important for Google. And then other SEO factors that we want to talk about on the actual page itself are like, how are you using headers, right? So you can see here that I've got like heading 1 for each page. This is just lorem ipsum text that you can look through. But you see as I scroll through this example page that I'm using a combination of heading 2, several heading 3s. Oh, there's another heading 2. And I want to make this page as easy to read and skimmable as possible. So you also don't shy away from using things like bullet points or, you've got numbered lists and stuff here. And again, because you're a photography website, really try to use as many images and integrate media, other media elements like a video or something into your page or post or whatever it is as much as you can. So on-site factors are going to be massive to consider. And, don't shy away from using really robust photos. It's not enough to just rely on images only. You also have to create keyword-rich text that is going to be useful for both search engines who are crawling and indexing your website, but also for the humans who are looking at your site. Like those are the real clients and customers who you want to work with, right? So give them the information they need, but format it in a way that makes it valuable to everyone. Okay. Before we move on now to the next point, I want to quickly mention that I have a Squarespace SEO checklist here, and I'm linking to it down below, but this is a one-page free checklist. It's so valuable, and I know you're gonna like it. So if you're interested in SEO and you don't already have it, grab it through the link below, because I wouldn't interrupt the video to tell you this if I didn't think it was really valuable to you. Okay, let's keep going now with another SEO factor for photography websites. It's going to be really helpful, and that is going to be blogging. Okay, so you can see here that I've got like just a basic blog website or blog here on my photography website. But if you don't have a blog section already on your site, it's really easy to add. All you're going to do is, up in the like primary navigation, or you can build it in the not linked and then drag it up later, whatever. Same. You want to just click the plus sign, and then you're going to go down and click add a blog. Okay, so now you've got a blog here, and you're going to start actually building the posts. So again, keep in mind all of the on-site SEO factors that we're talking about. Same thing with the images, best practices. But when it comes to blogging, like blogging is a secret weapon, or not even a secret weapon. It's like a no-brainer when it comes to SEO. Like if you Google any of the like your competitors, or if you Google like, Seattle photographers or Seattle family photographers, Seattle lifestyle design photographers or something, all of the websites that show up at the top of search results are probably going to have a blog. Like that's just the way it is. Blogging is huge for search results and showing up at the top of the lists, because it's a really wonderful way to create the right kind of content that your ideal audience is looking for. So again, go back to that exercise about search intent that I talked about at the start. And if you need to, use that as a guide for like creating the right kind of content. So, fill in any gaps that maybe there aren't addressed on the pages, like the services pages outlines, the like summary pages, things like that, and build up really high quality long form blog post content, so that you can get in front of the right audience online and hopefully get those people to convert into your dream clients and customers. Blogging is going to be huge. And again, down below in the description box, I'm going to link to a lot more blog posts that I've written all about making SEO strategic blog posts, right? So if you're kind of new to blogging, maybe you haven't done it before, or if you've let it completely like fall to the wayside, that's okay. Get back on the saddle and start blogging, because you're going to see that when you do, it's going to have massive impact for SEO and how you show up in online search results. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is backlinks. So backlinks are another very important aspect of SEO, but the great thing is for photography websites in particular, you have so many opportunities to pursue backlinks. And backlinks are basically just anytime another website links to your website. Okay, so you're sending traffic from another website is sending traffic into yours. And the great thing about backlinks is that in Google's eyes, they're like, oh, wow, like this website, like this fake one, Coastal Photography, must be legit because so many other websites are linking to it, right? It must have some sort of value. It's legitimate. It's, has some level of authority. And with photography websites, you might be like, okay, well, how do I get other websites to feature me? And I've linked to down below a blog post that talks a lot more about this, but basically like you can submit any weddings that you have photographed to kind of like wedding blogs or databases, or maybe you have partnered with like a local influencer or something, and you can get a link on your own website, or you partner with like a venue that you often work with, and you get them to kind of like feature your website and some of the weddings that you have that you have photographed for them. So these are all different ways that you can think about like, how can you pitch someone to link to your website by featuring you? And as a photographer, you have so many different ways to do that. But you'll also notice that with photography, you're probably going to get some like natural backlinks as well. And that's amazing. So another way you can kind of encourage people to do that or take advantage of it maybe would be to cover maybe like a press page or like a media page that you then link to down in the bottom footer section of your website. Or, if you have a lot of media mentions or features in other online publications, maybe add those logos onto your homepage as a way to just kind of show how like amazing and legit you are, right? So take advantage of that both from an SEO point of view, but also to kind of like, when you say ruffle your feathers in a good way or something. Okay. All right, and then the last point that I'm going to share with you here today is that as a photographer, if you really want to take advantage of SEO, you 100% must be using Pinterest, okay? Pinterest is not just a social media platform, it's actually more of a search engine. So, Pinterest is all about visual content, and lucky for you, if you are a photographer, you have a photography website, then you have a lot of visual content to take advantage of. So I'm not the expert in Pinterest, but there's tons of places that you can go online, find tutorials, whatever you want to, all about how to really leverage Pinterest for your Squarespace website. So if you're not doing that already, like I cannot recommend it enough. Like Pinterest is going to be massive for you. And if you're already correctly naming your images, like I just talked about before, then anytime you share your images directly from your Squarespace website onto Pinterest, you're going to get all of that keyword rich content going along with it. So your images are going to perform better than other images that don't have that associated information. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and gave you some ideas of things to work on with your own photography website. And if you liked it, let me know. You can like the video, you can leave me a comment, you can subscribe to my channel as well. I have lots more videos on my channel and also on my blog and my website all about Squarespace and SEO and like growing your website, your audience, and all of that sort of thing. So take a look at it. There's lots of content, resources, trainings, tutorials, anything that you want on this subject. Like I'm here for you. I've got your back. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.